Now, I want to stop by here very shortly because I'm winding down to go to sleep. And of course, there's always discussions being had about certain groups or things that I believe are supernatural and supersedes any intellectual comprehension, and really honestly modern day people's mental capacity. Although I do agree, and I will go into saying this because there's not an extension made between what I'm going to say, the two things I'm going to mention, and the person who brought it up. So the person's name actually translates into the masculine brown flower. And if you guys catch the drift, you can catch the drift. If you don't catch the drift, then just use this moment, absorb this moment as a time to be educated on a particular opinion of, once again, a group of people that come together, the meeting of the minds, and they choose to discuss things that not only has nothing to do with them, but ultimately stop their own spiritual evolution. I will say before going into this that I do feel like there is a particular agenda. We talked about this way before people start talking about this, around 2016, 2017, where we mentioned that they were coming together to put together some type of agenda. And the ultimate agenda was not to affect the heterosexual people. It was not to affect the woman or the man who identifies male and female who likes the opposite sex. It was meant to create some type of chaos within the LGBT community. So it's been brought to my attention, and I already kind of figured this because I kind of grew out of vibing with this person a long time ago. I was getting more of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and schizophrenia and possibly unmedicated bipolarism versus someone really having a spiritual experience. And so, like I said, I stopped connecting to them. So I want to first of all jump into the history of trans people. And I won't draw this out. I won't bore you guys. So I'm really going to try to keep this video under 25 minutes. So throughout history, prehistoric, pre-colonization of the Caribbean and the Americas, you had certain cultures. And of course, we can go into the Middle East and Africa and stuff, but we won't get into that because you can research that on your own. I want to meet the people where they're at. And so you had societies, you had tribes of people that established order, right? And we could say divine order, but they established order. And you had chiefs, you had leaders that appointed certain people into certain positions. Trans people has always had a position in every culture throughout history, including modern day. Along the way, just like many of you, they lost their position. They lost their stance. They lost their love of understanding. And one of the reasons is colonization. When a woman or a man falls under the post-colonization era of training, because we all have been programmed, and they start to speak about ancient positions, Because just like being a woman is an ancient position, so is being a man. So is being a trans person. We all had our role in society. Where the confusion, I think, get mixed up is where people don't understand their position. And when they see that there are people that should be appointed in their position or should be treating them in a position that they feel that they're in, are treating someone different than them the same way, they feel intimidated. It bothers them. It rattles their soul. It rattles their spirit. So in modern terms, in a direct language, a lot of women, because a lot of men will act like they're upset about the trans movement, but mostly it's women that are upset at it. And if I was in that position, I would be upset as well. And I wouldn't be upset out of the sense of I'm upset at these trans people, these men who are acting and looking like women. I'll be more upset at myself and my ancestors for not keeping a tradition in my lineage. Ancient Africa, ancient Asia, ancient indigenous to the islands, ancient indigenous to the mainlands, they accepted and respected people of the trans community. But just like the same people who taught you how to hate your menses, who taught your man how to hate your femininity, you also have succumbed to the ignorance. And when you succumb to the ignorance, or you fall short of the glory, as they say, or you've been dethroned, you will start to try to dethrone everybody else as well. This individual, shockingly enough, because like I said, I don't want to take up too much time. And maybe this will be another part. Maybe we'll get into part 2, part 3, part 4, because I'm always about educating the people, especially people of color, people of a particular type, a particular tribe. Because, bitch, you don't look not only stupid amongst your own people, but the same people that taught you that rhetoric, you look stupid amongst them too. You don't get kudo points from people who are awakened. You get kudo points from people who are also who have also succumbed to the stupidity of the masters. They have not fully woken up. This person speaks about being from the Andromeda galaxy. That's something that we talked about a lot with me. People would ask, interstellarly, energetically, what constellation I believe is my home. And I told you guys, I come from the Andromeda galaxy. Not getting into detail, but I've said that and I've stayed on that. This individual, name translate to masculine brown flower, they also state that they believe they're from Andromeda. Now I can kind of see it because Andromeda people has a full white face. So I could kind of see it. I've never seen this person, skinny. So I don't know if their face is still going to be big and full. Even at like 164 pounds, I've had a wide, full face. So me losing weight or gaining weight, it doesn't make my face less round. My face is just round. I have a round face, and even going into the influences of me being a Gemini Cancer, the moon, I have a round moon face. But the species of Andromeda, now, of course, y'all, for layman's terms, these are fictional. This is a fictional conversation. But for those of you who are tapped in and you know what you know, people of Andromeda are considered hermaphrodites. The way they procreate is not the way that the people on Earth procreate. They do not procreate. And to be exact, their procreation is called budding. Now, they have lots of movies out there They even had a TV show, I think, called Alienation in the 80s or the 90s, which, by the way, I was not able to see that TV show until the early 2000s, unfortunately. But they have a certain way of what they call seeding. So they will basically procreate with a male energy, and this weaker male energy. And of course, there's different societies within this galaxy. I just want to point out majority of what it is, right? And I just find it so odd that somebody would say that their spirit or their soul is from this galaxy, but speak so nasty. Because if this is coming from a man or a woman who doesn't know about any of that, who just think that they only lived on this planet and they're going to die and that's the only life they have, I would kind of understand the stupidity. I would kind of understand the stupidity that the masculine brown flower has talked about and is kind of pushing right now. But the fact that somebody who is spiritually awakened, allegedly, is somebody who can tap in, who's connected to water spirits. If you do not know, semen, okay, men that can swim underwater, aquatic beings, come out of a penis, also known as testicular fluids. It's called semen. Vaginal fluids is called vaginal fluid. It's not called ocean water and all that, and I'm just putting it out there, okay? And so either way, someone to allege they come from this galaxy, but yet they speak so nasty. And the words verbatim was men cosplaying women. And if you're going to cosplay women, you need to give women credit. You don't know who you are as a woman, because everything that you've been taught as a woman up to this point, you've been taught it by a man. Going into the first gynecologist, if you don't know what gynecologists mean, it means study of woman. They were all men, by the way. It was men that introduced the modern day human to the anatomy of a woman. And of course, I'm just pointing this out. This is not a debate. This is not a fight. This is not to go into, shaming, reading, or any of that down, even though this person has done so. Because like I said, I don't play with peasants. I don't get off my throne to tussle and wrestle with bitches that have been dethroned. That's not what I do. But I like to enlighten. I like to remind my fellow sisters and brothers to hold their head up. The crown get a little heavy, but hold it up, girl. Don't let that crown tilt. If you're worthy of getting one, bitch. And so either way, a lot of people are also self-proclaimed highly evolved beings and stuff. And I'm just like, girl, the hell. Anyway. And so not only, like I said, when she's getting into this whole cosplay and stuff, I'm like, but do you not know that it was a man that told you about who you were? Do you know it was a man that actually broke down the anatomy of you, who you are, and how you became, how you knew about all this stuff? How you know about your fallopian tubes and all that. But like I said, that's nothing to do with trans people. But if we're going to talk about giving women credit where credit is due, and I will say this collectively, because if someone steps up to the plate, and I've said this continuously, and I will continue to say this, I don't speak on behalf of other trans people, because there's a lot of trans people that I don't fuck with. There's a lot of trans people that I think are not really trans people. I think they're confused gay man. There's just a lot of stuff I don't fuck with amongst my own community, including the other alphabets, the L, the G, and the B. A lot of people are traumatized, and they resorted to this lifestyle as a point of escaping and or traumatization. So with that being said, I'm never going to come out and speak on a whole behalf of trans people and say, if you're going to do this for trans people, respect, blah, blah. I'm never going to do that. But I'm going to speak about me, because to the outside world, I'm a part of that community, so I'm going to address it. If we're going to give women credit for the white woman, and I think the words verbatim were melanated women, the white woman getting wrestling to look like black women. Of course, they didn't get into this. Okay. I'm thinking to myself, right? This is just, and like I said, we're just talking. If collectively women held themselves to higher standards. I'm pretty sure I would not have any problem with giving all women their credit where credit is due. Because I do want to point out, I'm not a cisgender woman. I was not natively born a female. But most of my friends, most people I've grew up with, most people that I've been close with are native born females. Most of the people that I respect, most people that respect me are native born females. So that should say something, right? They get their flowers. They get their respect from me. And it's not because they're a woman. It's because they stand and own up to their power. So if women collectively was not allowing just anybody and everybody inside of them, if women collectively was not just allowing a man to come in their life and because he looks good or he got money, let this person mutilate their body and take a person's life or take a life out, I'm sure collectively every woman will get their credit. But you cannot say because you have a vagina or uterus that you are a fucking woman and you should be respected and treated as such. Because just like penis and balls does not make you a man, it makes you a male. And the discussion is not about male or female. It's about a man or woman. And according to, Tish, she said it's pink and blue. It's not about anything else. And I like to stand and I speak for what is right. I don't want to get into reading deep and personally because I can. And of course, this individual want to have a one-on-one reading session because I love having verbal debates and discussions. I love it. If it's going to enlighten me, if it's going to help you to understand, I'm all for it. But of course, that's not going to happen, girl. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it, girl. She's not the first, and she's not going to be the last girl that a bitch like me have to correct and castigate. She's not the first, and she's not going to be the last. The issue is with your man, not the men who think they're women. They're not screwing you. There's no trans woman screwing you. Your baby father is not a trans person. Your dad is not a trans person. That's not your problem. You deserve your credit and your recognition from the man who laid pipe down in you, respectfully. You deserve your credit and recognition from the man who gave you life, respectfully. You deserve credit and recognition from the man that you want to climb on top of and give your virginity to. Respectfully. And like I said, anybody who has a brain to think and ears to hear and eyes to see, you've always seen what it was. Behind the scenes, allegedly, these are all men in these offices putting together agendas, putting together programs to divide and to conquer. It kind of reminds me of this situation, right? Just a little story. What time is it? Okay, I want to keep it under. We got 10 minutes. Just a little story. There was a person, I'm not going to say no names. He was so adamant about, he was a political figure. And a Republican at that, a very conservative Republican at that. And he was just sick of all these LGBT people. He was just like, the gays got to stop. We're going to make sure the homosexuals don't have a club, don't have this and that. And so this man was actually going through, locally, what they call it, statewide, countywide, and banning certain things and doing certain things. Coming to find out, he got pulled over by the police and he was in full woman's garment with makeup and a wig on. The moral of that story is When people want to suppress their dirty little secrets, when people want to hide their dirty ass hands behind their back, because they know that you're going to make them turn around and show you their hands, they got to get you to look on the other side. Look over there. And that's what's going on. They have to get you to come for people that is no threat to you. One day, the female species and the male species will see, just like one day, the white species will see that they need the black species. Just like the male and female species one day is going to remember that they needed the trans species. You're not going to come here and say you are indigenous or you're Caribbean or you're from the mainland and you're against the colonizers and you got cute names for them, but you disown your culture. And in the same tone and breath, you say, I don't like men cosplaying as women. As if your culture didn't have men cosplaying as motherfucking women. Hello? Am I speaking to somebody? To me, that's mental illness. To me, that's the spirit of confusion. Especially under the same breath, they're saying, I come from Andromeda, or I come from a galaxy, or my energy is from a species, a place where there are hermaphrodites. These people are considered hermaphrodites. Do you not understand what hermaphrodite is? And as a hermaphrodite, you can cosplay as anything you fucking choose to. You want to present as a man or a woman, you could do so. That is your prerogative. That is your business. When did it become everybody's business to determine and be upset about what a grown-ass man or woman want to do on their own motherfucking personal time? Because just like people were upset about women out here ABOing babies and stuff innocently, some of them were not doing it because they were, touched inappropriately and things were done to them inappropriately. Some of them were doing, girl, because they felt like they can do it. They don't like the feeling of a condom, and they were just accidents was going on. They were just like, girl, let's take this baby out. And then when they decided to keep the babies, the next baby got born with either autism or some type of deformity, and then they want to fight people for calling their kid autistic or whatever. And it's just like, girl, wait, what? We have to take accountability and responsibility for our choices and decisions. And we got to let others take accountability and responsibility for their decisions. I will never trust a man or woman who comes forward and talk about their culture. And when they speak about their culture and you look up the history of their culture, you know, goddamn well their culture accepted and respected certain type of people, but yet they over here talking about those people, then you know you can't trust those people. You know those are the traitors. Those were the ones who sold you out. Those were the ones who told the other folks that you were up to no good while they were up to no good. You have been guilty of treason, masculine brown flower. You are not accepted into any of the cultures that you speak about you being a part of. And I say that respectfully, honestly, and directly. You are now washed. You are now made up. Everything about your identity, everything about who you are from this moment on is a figment of everybody's imagination, including your own. What you're not going to do is claim to be a part of cultures or a culture that made you who you are. You're not going to be claiming to be a part of a society or group of people, even publicly. You're spiritually inclined. You're spiritually advanced. Bullshit. You're not full. You're not spiritually advanced. You're not spiritually evolved. Girl, you're spiritually lost or you're spiritually confused. And it's all over your face. You read faces, it's all over that face that she is confused. She doesn't know which way to go. She has her major ups and downs. And these so-called interactions that she be having, it be made up, figmented stories. Respectfully, directly, and clearly. You want to be recognized and you want your credit for being a woman of a particular shade, hue, or culture, then you should be speaking to the people that represent that culture and tell them, girl, change your ways. Because see, that's why I washed my hands and I gave up. I would never sit here and have a debate or fight about anybody about all trans people. I would never do it. They lost me years ago. They lost that. They lost it when they thought they were going to sit here and talk about their woman, but they want to talk about how they love dicking niggas down and they love the man to give them head and stuff. Like, girl, what? And publicly, not privately. Like, what? Who's talking like that? But on the flip side, you're a woman. That's when they lost me, trying to fight because a bitch ain't like that. Oh, we don't see you at none of the balls. We don't see you hang around none of the girls. I don't have to, bitch. I don't like you. I don't have to be around you. Bitch, I don't know you. So for the most part, they lost me. Am I still cool with some of the people in the community? Definitely. Because we're connected beyond the fact that we're all trans. We're connected because we're on the same vibrations. We have the same energy. We came here for the same purpose. That's how we connect. It has nothing to do with us being trans or us being melanated or us being Spanish speaking, English speaking. It has nothing to do with that. And spiritually advanced people, that's how we operate. We don't go looking for and fighting for people because, oh, you're like me. I'm brown, so I got to fight for other brown folks. I'm a woman, so I have to fight for other women. Those women are not fighting for themselves. I'm not fighting for them. Those brown people are not fighting for themselves. I'm not fighting for them. I'm fighting for and with people who are fighting for and with themselves. That's how we have an alliance. And that's how we move forward. So that's how I'm gonna leave with that. There's so many ways I could have got into this and got down and read even further, deeper. Girl, I just read 2 pages. I could have read into a whole motherfucking novel. Girl, we could have been on book number 7 already, girl, because that's how many books there is about a particular type of energy that stands behind this person and people like them. We watching you. And now it's like, well, maybe you're not really the enemy. Maybe you've always been the puppet for the true enemy. Maybe. I don't know. You talked about some very interesting things in the past. But now it's like, wait a minute. What? You are a spirit cosplaying as human. To go even deeper than that. What? Cosplaying? You are a spirit having a human experience and you're cosplaying as a human. When you shed this skin, you are a shape-shifting entity. When you shed this skin, because you've had many lives as a male and as a female. But because you came into this life and you've been programmed and you are detached from your ultimate self, soul, and spirit, you feel like you could speak about some shit that you know nothing about. And it's unfortunate. Peace be upon your soul, your mind, and your spirit. Peace be upon your descendants and your ancestors' souls, minds, and spirit. And that's why I leave with that. Let me see if there's anybody came in there. Come on in here, Kanaya. How you doing, honey? Great joy. Come on in here, Kanaya. Who you doing? Okay. Anyway, I'm off the bed, y'all. I just want to stop by very quickly and just speak about some things, y'all. Educate yourself on the Bardash people. Educate yourself on the Hydras. Educate yourself on the two-spirited people. Educate yourself on all this. Educate yourself on why the sailors would cosplay as woman to entertain other sailors. Educate yourself on why in prison the men will also gravitate towards taking on masculine and feminine roles. Like I said, I think the issue is with the wrong people. And see, this is how you also know people who have gotten help from mother and father issues versus people who just kind of overlooked it. Your problem is not with when people come out and they be like, I have a problem with this, I have a problem with that. You don't have a problem with that. You have a problem with your parents. You have a problem with your parents, babe. That's why people who are content and at peace with their life and can say, well, I don't know about those people, so I can't really speak for them. Let me just stay on my lane and speak about myself, because you'll never hear me speak about a culture or type of people or lifestyle people that I'm not connected to. I know nothing about. I'm content with my life. I've done the work. I'm doing the work. But when you know that they're not doing the work and they have not done the work, but out here guiding you, which is ultimately misleading you, how you know is when they still got problems with mommy and daddy and anybody who raised them, and they come out and they project it into their work. You're not spiritually enlightened, sis. You're not spiritually advanced if all you're doing is condemning and leading the souls to the void. You're not enlightened. You're not advanced. And then this whole, I'm more special than you because this is how I came into this world. A lot of people have a story about a lot of people came into this world magically and exciting. Just like a lot of people exited out the world magically and exciting. It doesn't make them better than you and I. And even our life experience doesn't make us better than anybody else. We both decided to fall from grace and manifest to this third dimension. So that tells you right there, girl, we're even. That tells you right there, girl, we're one and the same. But you don't see that because you're a part of the agenda, and yet have the audacity, once again, under the same breath, to speak about, there's an agenda. I'm not for the agenda. Baby, you're a part of the agenda. You sound like people that say, I don't believe in magic. I don't believe in witchcraft. And they talk about they got an interview on Monday at 9:00 in the morning. How does that make sense? How does that make sense? I don't believe in magic. I don't believe in witchcraft. I don't believe none of that spiritual stuff. But you over here talking about birthdays. Is that not magical? You're going to talk about Christmas and New Year's and Thanksgiving. Is that not magical? Today is Monday. Today is Tuesday. Oh, I got an appointment on Thursday. Is that not magical? Where did Thursday come from? Did you look up the history of that? And when you speak about those names, what energy you invoke? But yeah, you talking about you are not a part of the agenda. Oh, I'm awakened and I'm seeing that this is just a show. You're part of the show, baby. I'm not a part of the show. I'm not a part of it. But you're definitely a part of the show. Definitely. We see it. You're one of the characters. Anyway. Bye for now. Love and light. twospiritmystic.blogspot.com, 28spirit8mystic@gmail.com. And y'all, I'm on my way to bed, y'all. Listen, I was really out. Y'all, I was on my way out of the bed. And I said, bitch, what the fuck is this? I said, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. And all the king horses and all the king men couldn't be putting Humpty together again. And I was just like, wait a minute. The fuck is going on here? And when I saw not a top pick neither, and that'd be another thing too, girl, it'd be the ones that don't be top picks that got to be having the most to say. You're not a top pick girl, honey. Girl, we're lined up in a room. Girl, you're in with other trans people. I guarantee, girl, you're going to be the last one they pick. You're going to be one of the last ones. You're not going to be one of the first ones, girl. You were stuck on an island and a man or two or three had to decide who he wanted to sit down with and procreate. You will not be. And girl, you could be like, well, I'm the one that has the vagina. They don't have it. The fuck? Girl, they're going to be in that illusion because even you said it. We live in a projected world. Life is a projection. So a man ultimately knows what he wants. And unfortunately, if he sees that also in somebody who's born a male, he knows what he wants. Why bully and condemn this man for knowing what he wants? You said it yourself. It's a projection. We live in a world that's projection. Our mind create things. So he created a a person who shapeshifted into what he wanted. And like I said, I'm not gonna attack women. I'm not here to attack women because I don't have a problem with women. I have a problem with people like the masculine brown flower though. I sure do. It's like, girl, if you were soft, cunty, and dainty, and docile, and fragile looking, and honey, your nails are done, the hair is, that type of thing, and you were given a Shantae type of thing, and the skin was looking impeccable, and all that stuff, girl, you over here reading a man cosplaying as a woman. I was like, oh, no, I see it. But you looking like that? When you're looking like that and looking like that, and you got something to say, girl, bye. We all laughing at you, and so are the man that you think that you're attracted is laughing at you, girl. And you tell him that you should get the credit recognition that you deserve. Because, bitch, he ain't buying it, we ain't buying it either. That's why niggas in wigs, niggas that are cosplaying as women are still getting it, and they're going to continue to get it. The fuck? And if they're smart about it, girl, they go get it and they go get money. And that's how you're going to clean up the act. Too many of them trying to play cosplay and give it up for free. Ain't no motherfucking way I'm paying for hormones and paying for transitional services, bitch. And I'm letting a motherfucker left in my motherfucking house for free. Girl, what? Girl, my mama told me I'm beautiful. My daddy told me I'm beautiful. Girl, the fuck? And that'd be your problem too, honey. You natal born male and females too, girl. Y'all be letting people, oh, you so beautiful. Oh my God, thank you. Oh my God, you want to have a baby? Right. Talk about you deserve credit recognition. Yes, you do. You deserve all the credit recognition for all the decisions you made in your life. And clearly they were not good ones because you're so upset about these men cosplaying as women. You're so upset about it. Did your baby father leave you for a man cosplaying as a woman? I mean, these are serious questions to be asking. Maybe your dad. Maybe these are, because they say we are our ancestors' traumas coming to the surface. Maybe your daddy was a man cosplaying as a woman, and you hate that side of him. You came out as that hateful gene, But like I said, you wouldn't be passable like that, sister. We were all lined up. You're not all that passable, babe. You can talk about it, but you can't be about it like that. Hello? I'm done. Bye for now.